Hello friends, I wanted to show y'all one of my Power Apps. So we were approached by a couple campuses. They wanted to set up a house point system for their students to have that friendly competition going on and to drive some of those lessons. But there was no money in the budget for any type of special licenses or third-party software, so I built it out in SharePoint. And the nice thing about SharePoint here is it's built in as part of our Microsoft license, and it's not an additional fee like Dataverse would be for us. So we don't have a Dataverse license. So I created a SharePoint site for the campus house points, and of course the backbone of any good Power App is the data itself. And so when we look at the house points data table in here, we've got the title column, which is going to be the staff member that submitted the points. We have a column for each one of the houses as well. And we'll do all the math in the Power App. They were also interested in having a lunch points table. They don't appear to be using it at the moment, but it is available to them. And they also wanted to have control over the app in-house without having to do all of the training on the editorial side of Power Apps and SharePoint. So I set up a house point administrator table where a number of employees can be added in as administrators, so they can make changes within the app without having to get into this SharePoint site or into the editor for Power Apps to update things. So let's jump over to Power Apps now and take a look at that. So this is the landing page for the Power App, and in this page you have the 5 houses represented as well as their running total for each one of the houses. So the house that is in the lead, you can see here the purple house is in the lead, so the background of the screen is purple. You can see up here in the code for the leaderboard fill that whichever lead house, when the lead house is the same total of points as the total for the individual house, then it selects that color. I'll show you how all that is set up here in a second. There is a way, if you know Power Apps, you may be thinking, why didn't I set these colors up as a app formula? I found that to be glitchy, so I went ahead and just used the RGBA code directly here and not using a variable for the color. Sometimes it just wouldn't run right, even though it was coded correctly. So the background that makes all this work are these 2 timers. So we've got this update timer, and we don't need to look at the duration. We want to look at on timer end. When the timer comes to an end, and this runs automatically and it ends every couple seconds, it will refresh the house points data set, and it will do the math for us off of that house points in SharePoint. So it will add up all the house points for the 5 different houses and create a variable that is equal to that point. And then we set a variable called the lead house, which is going to be the top performing house. So it's going to look at the maximum value out of those variables. So in addition to that, what's kind of fun, we have these holiday X and holiday Y numbers, which give us a random X and Y value across the screen to have a fun seasonal icon that kind of bounces around the screen every couple seconds while it's playing to kind of, add some motion to the screen and keep the kids' attention. In order to keep track of some of the information as far as which house was moving from one place to another, we also have to have an original number for each one of those. So we have a variable for each one of the house that is the house original number, and it is a sum of that information that is summed more frequently than the other timer. So let's look at some of the seasonal decor. Let's go ahead and jump into the winter one, and I will show you how the winter one looks just for an idea. Turn the visibility over here. So if the month is equal to 12 and the month is equal to 1, then it'll be true or false. Let's just say 5 here. That'll allow it to be visible right now. So now you can see here that you've got the winter theme on here. And again, this changes just about every month. Let's go to preview, and you will see that the snowflake will move around the screen based off of that XY variable, and it's set behind things so it never gets in the way, but it does add that kind of fun motion to the screen, and the kids love seeing these different things pop up. Okay, let's change this back. Okay, so they asked about the lunch option. Let's jump over to the lunch screen. Okay, they wanted a lunch screen that was faster to use than the standard one, and could be used without having a full staff member logged in. This could be used by a lunch aide, could be used by a parent that's helping to run the lunchroom in a supervisor role. So they can come in here, and this is on a touch screen in the cafeteria, where the adult can come up and just hit the one here, and it adds it into the database, or they can hit a 5 and adds that in as well. They also have the ability to change which grade they're looking at. So if it's second grade lunch, then they can jump over to second grade. If it's fifth grade lunch, they can jump over to fifth grade, and so forth. And when they submit it, it'll be in SharePoint. They can hit the reset button and actually erase all this. And then there's the back button as well. That is also available in the main app, because sometimes in special circumstances they'll have lunch in the classroom, and the teachers will be able to add those points in during their lunch as well if they're supervising an in-class lunch. So we have the add points. So this is just the running total. How do we add the points? So when we hit add points, it sends us to this page where we have, again, the lead house is being shown, and it's also a list of all the points that have been added by the different staff members so far. So this is going to be the gallery for the table in SharePoint. If the teacher wants to edit a data point they already put in, they can search for themselves here. If a principal wants to go in and edit what a staff member has put in there, they can search for the staff member and then edit it. You also have the ability to add points. So you go to add points, and you've got a add point screen. A lot of teachers will actually leave the house points screen on this, and they will have the ability to just pop these numbers in and submit it as they go, and it's got their little mission statement here at the top, and it works out really well. When they hit submit, you'll see it just fires that form off, and that information will be back here. So there is another screen, and that is the admin screen. So the admin screen is interesting. You have to be an administrator to go to this screen, which means you have to be in that table in SharePoint. So if I go back actually to the details screen, if I go back to the browse screen, if I'm in the browse screen, there is actually a button. We have an admin access button that we cannot see because I am in my account and I am not in the admin list. So I'm going to set this temporarily to true so we can see it. And so that is going to be there for any admin. Regular staff members that are not on the admin list are not going to see this. So it won't be an option for them. Of course, I don't need to be on the admin list because I built the app. So I'm going to go over here to the admin screen, and this is what it would look like for the administrators. The campus account is set as the owner and an admin, so that's why you have this one here. That's to make sure that there's continuity in the app. We don't have any type of issues with account deletions if someone leaves the district or is assigned to a different campus. But with that said, on this app, we can control this, and let's say with Jennifer Prince here, when I click on the little edit arrow here, I have the option to remove her from the house point administrative list. This will remove her from the table in the SharePoint. She can edit the password for access for Jennifer as well. So we can exit out of that. If we want to add a new administrator, this is a really fun formula here. So filtering all of the Office 365 users for our district here, we don't necessarily build out the users in our system to its full extent. So some accommodations had to be made in how we looked for things. Our students are also available through this system. They are not in a separate tenant. So we have to filter things very carefully. Otherwise, when you start typing in names, you'll get a whole lot of Jennifer Princes. So I have it filtered for different job titles. And what I've included in these job title filters are things that are going to be our administrative staff, our teachers, and just basically all the adults that are going to be on campus that may be related to this type of job, that may be doing this kind of thing, including campus secretaries. So there is a exemption to this where they have to be an enabled account. So we're not going to see a list of people who are no longer in the district. And without this little EXT tag that we put on some people that may be teacher and they may be active, but they're actually, say, belonging to the community college and not to the district directly. So they're excluded from this list. So you would put the person in here, you would select them out of that list, enter the password. The passwords have to match. This is kind of fun too. So this password fields must match. There's some really fun code to this. So password input 1 and password input 2, if it is not equal, or if password input 1 is blank, then this will show up, which means that the opposite is true. If they are the same, then that will not be visible. And what will be visible in its place is the new admin submit button, which isn't shown there. But what I like to do in situations like this is I like to have these edit and new admission fields actually populate on top of each other. So when you're clicking into the admin browser, you end up setting a variable for edit admin to true, which allows the edit admin form to be visible on top of the new admin form. So you can see here in the hierarchy tree that the edit admin form is actually above the new admin form. Of course, when the visibility is set to false, then you're just looking at the new admin form. But that's nice because that'll give you the opportunity to pop it in, and you're not having to switch screens or anything like that. And all of this is pretty low. There's no big images in here that really slow this thing down. So even though this is a robust app, there's a lot in this app. It runs very smoothly on the hardware that we have available to our teachers and staff here in the district. You also have the option to reset the house points data right here. There is a big warning screen when you do this because it can't be undone. And I wanted to make sure that that was not hit on accident. They do reset the points here, I think every 9 weeks, but they have that option right there, so the admin can reset it. So that's about it. This app is a lot of fun to build. The kids love it, the teachers love it, and it has really helped to support this project, and it costs us no extra money. This is 100% just part of our license with Microsoft that I built out and supported in support of the campuses.